Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on a mission to make America healthy again. He's also swimming in sewage. The Health and Human Services Secretary posted pictures over the weekend of himself and his family taking a dip in Rock Creek here in the nation's capital. The only problem? The National Park Service bans swimming in the creek due to high levels of bacteria stemming from the city's aging wastewater infrastructure. Joining us to discuss the Hill's lakes, ponds, and rivers, streams, correspondent Sarakshi Rai. So full disclosure, my dog swims in Rock Creek all the time. Is it really that dangerous?
It's extremely dangerous. Please do not let your dog swim in Rock Creek Park anymore. The problem is that because, like you mentioned, DC has this aging sewage infrastructure, it's really a combined sewage system that runs through and eventually kind of runs into Rock Creek Park. So that particular creek has high levels of bacteria, including E. coli. There's a bunch of citizen scientists actually that go in on a weekly basis and monitor the levels of bacteria in Rock Creek Park. And they have different centers along the creek that you can kind of click into and log in to see what the bacteria levels are. And I highly recommend DC residents do that before wading into any part of Rock Creek Park because, you know, chances are, and I checked today, at least 2 of those little monitoring centers had extremely high levels of E. coli. So, you know, there are signs all over Rock Creek Park. You just have to walk through to see, you know, they say please don't let your pets swim through it or don't wade through it because really, the levels of bacteria are extremely high, Drew.
So Kennedy has this movement of people obsessed with what we put in our bodies, from fluoride in drinking water to vaccines. They're very concerned about all this. For him not to heed the warnings of officials here, I don't know, it just seems a bit ironic.
I mean, he is a new resident of the city, so chances are he probably didn't see those signs, perhaps. But I do know that this has been a problem that has, you know, long plagued the city. This has been an ongoing issue since the 1970s. That's when we were first banned from swimming or wading in the Rock Creek area. And really, essentially, you know, while there has been a lot of work that's been done to kind of fix this issue, it is a problem of our aging sewage infrastructure. You know, right now it's especially worse when it rains because this combined sewage tank essentially overspills into the creek, and what we see then is that there are high levels of bacteria in the water, which is why, you know, especially this week when we have a week of grim gray skies and rain, it's probably, you know, quite dangerous to wade through that water because the levels of bacteria are going to be extremely high. So essentially it's just, you know, a problem of when this is resolved, because it has been decades now that we haven't been allowed to swim in Rock Creek Park.
And Kennedy joins the likes of singer-songwriter Lorde as famous people who have made headlines for swimming in polluted DC waterways. I think Lorde swam in the Potomac, or at least said that she did. But there is work being done to clean up these systems. By the end of Trump's term, could Rock Creek actually be clean enough to swim in?
I mean, there has been this debate, you know, because this issue has plagued us since the 1970s, that people have said that, you know, maybe everyone's just taking this a little too seriously. Maybe it might be clean enough to swim, and maybe we might get there eventually. But, you know, about a decade and a half ago, the Anacostia River was ranked one of the country's most polluted waterways. And since then, a lot has been done to kind of clean up the river. But if you look at these monitoring sites that are along the Potomac as well as Rock Creek and at different parts of the cities and in different national parks, you'll see that the bacterial levels, you know, even though they might be, you know, on a green scale at times, it doesn't take a lot for them to go bang into the danger zone in red, where there are high levels of E. coli or other bacteria that are there. So essentially, it all comes down to how long it will take, you know, the city to really change the sewage system. I mean, one of the things that the city has floated is really enlarging some of the sewage infrastructure that we have so that the overspill doesn't take place, where, you know, it doesn't kind of contaminate the creek water. But, you know, essentially that's a really large undertaking and a long project. And because DC is such an old city, the chances of that happening might really not happen anytime soon. But as a DC resident, I can just say I hope eventually we'll be able to swim in this water. But, you know, it's like that Seinfeld episode with where, you know, they're like swimming in the Hudson, or, you know, you don't really want to swim in the Thames in London either. So, you know, just I guess, enjoy the beautiful scenery from afar, kayak in it, but maybe don't swim in it, DC. I don't know.
Yeah, my dog's going to be very disappointed to hear of this, but we'll maybe check the monitoring sites before we even think about ever doing this again. Sarakshi Rai, thanks so much for this valuable information. Everybody, listen to her.